My name is Rachel Price, and the night everything in my family finally snapped didn't start with a fight. It started with dishes drying on a rack, the low hum of the dishwasher, and the soft ring of a phone I should have let go to voicemail. I wiped my hands on a dish towel and glanced at the screen. Dylan, my younger brother, golden child, family favorite, man who had never once been told no. I picked up. His voice came through, bright, too bright, like a stage light meant to blind. Rachel, great news. We're hosting a huge celebration for Liam this Saturday. State championship win. Big deal. Private ballroom by the lake. The whole family's invited. For a moment, I felt something warm flicker in my chest. Maybe, just maybe, we could have a normal family moment. But then I heard it. A shift. A tone drop so slight most people would have missed it. "You can come," he said, "but leave Maya at home." The towel slipped from my hand. "Excuse me, she just doesn't fit the atmosphere," Dylan continued, casual as a weather report. "This is Liam's night. You know how it is. Don't make things complicated." I didn't breathe for a beat. Then another. The dishwasher clicked sharply behind me like it was punctuating his words for him. "Did you really just say that about my daughter?" I asked. He gave a short laugh, the kind that cuts more than it amuses. "Rach, don't start. It's a classy event. Maya's shy. It's better this way." The air in the kitchen thickened. "Not hot, cold. Dylan, I said what you're saying is cruel." "No," he snapped back, annoyed I hadn't fallen in line. "What's cruel is turning Liam's night into something awkward. Just do the right thing." Then the click. Call ended. Conversation over before it had ever begun. I stared at the black screen. My heartbeat thudded through my ribs, slow and heavy, like something trying to break out. I wasn't angry yet. Anger comes warm. This was something colder, something that seeps into your bones and waits. I set the phone down, and for the first time in my life, I realized my brother truly believed my daughter was optional. If you've ever known that moment, when someone in your own bloodline decides your child doesn't belong, then you understand why what happened next was inevitable. If you've ever felt that sting, that freeze, that quiet snap inside your chest, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Because this wasn't the beginning of a fight. This was the beginning of a demolition. The house felt too quiet. Just the dishwasher. Just the refrigerator's low hum. Just my pulse roaring in my ears. Then I heard footsteps behind me, soft, hesitant. Maya stood in the doorway holding a glass of water with both hands. 13 years old, thin shoulders, eyes too good at reading the room. She didn't speak. She didn't have to. I took a breath. It scraped on the way in. "Sweetheart, I said your Uncle Dylan called." Her fingers tightened around the glass just a little. "He doesn't want you at Liam's celebration." 2 seconds of stillness. Then she blinked, nodding once like she'd rehearsed this answer her whole life. "Oh," she whispered. That was all. But it landed like a brick in my chest. She took one step forward, then another, until she was close enough to grab my sleeve. Her fingers curled around the fabric and held on knuckles whitening. I put a hand over hers, warm, shaking. I grabbed my phone, typed a message to Dylan with one thumb. "We won't be attending. Sent." Before the screen even dimmed, the phone lit again. "Mom." I hit speaker. I didn't trust my hands to hold the device steady. "Rachel Ann Price." She began always my full name when the verdict had already been written. "Your brother tells me you're overreacting to the plans for Saturday. He told me not to bring Maya," I said. "He said she doesn't fit." "Oh, for heaven's sake. You know how Dylan gets when Liam wins something? He's proud. Don't ruin it. Just let it go." "I'm not letting it go, Mom. He excluded my child." Mom scoffed. "You're twisting his words. He didn't mean anything by it. Stop being sensitive, for once in your life." She hung up without waiting for my reply. The quiet that followed wasn't quiet at all. It was crushing. Then the group chat exploded. Page, wow. Stirring drama over a teen party classy. Mom Dylan said you decided Maya shouldn't go. A cousin rolling eyes emoji. Another gif of someone throwing a tantrum. Dad, nothing. Not a word. Only silence from the man who had raised me to be the bigger person, even when it meant making myself small enough to disappear. Maya was still holding my sleeve. still gripping it like a lifeline. She glanced at the screen at the messages piling up, twisting the truth into something easier for them to swallow. "They think you didn't want me there," she said softly. "They believe whatever hurts least," I murmured. She let out a shaky breath. "I don't even like parties like that." A pause. "But it still hurts." Her voice cracked thin and raw. I pulled her close, her forehead pressing into my arm, her breath short and uneven. "Do they care about Liam more than me?" she whispered. That question, that tiny, trembling question, landed like a blow. I swallowed. "Some people love loudly. Doesn't make it real love." Her shoulders tightened. Just a little, just enough to break me. We stood there in that kitchen dishwasher, humming lights, too bright air, too thin, until she finally loosened her grip, until her breathing slowed, until she walked to her room without a word. I waited until I heard her door close. Then I picked up the invitation envelope Dylan had mailed earlier that day. It was thick, elegant, expensive. I turned it over once in my hand, twice. My daughter's name would never appear on anything that came from him, not unless it served him. And that was the moment, quiet, sharp, almost gentle, when something in me finally broke for good. Not loud, not dramatic, just a clean, cold snap, the kind you don't mend. The envelope arrived 3 days later, thick, heavy, ivory paper, the kind meant to signal importance before you even open it. It lay on the kitchen counter like something radioactive. I didn't touch it, didn't need to. I already knew what was inside. Maya walked in fresh from her shower hair, damp, oversized sweater sleeves covering half her hands. She spotted the envelope instantly. Her steps slowed. "That's for the party," she said. Not a question. I nodded. She approached it with careful fingers, the way you'd approach a wound you already expect will hurt. She slid a nail under the seal, opened it without tearing anything. She pulled out the card. I watched her eyes move across the words once, twice, a third time. Then she placed the card back inside the envelope. Slow, precise, like she was performing surgery on her own heart. "It's just you," she said quietly. No tremor, no accusation, just a statement of fact. She walked past me and poured herself a glass of water. Her shoulders were too straight, too controlled. She didn't cry. Sometimes that's worse. At dinner, she picked at her food without really eating. Then she wrapped herself in a blanket on the couch phone, propped on her knees. I was loading the dishwasher when I heard her inhale sharply. "Maya," I asked. She didn't answer immediately, just held the phone out for me to see. Liam's Instagram story. A full takeover. A highlight reel of everything she wasn't allowed to be part of. Slide 1 Liam standing under a stone archway at Lakeshore Resort. Tailored blazer. Spotlights behind him. Caption, "Championship weekend, let's go." Slide 2, a drone shot of the ballroom patio. Golden hour. Strings of lights overhead. Text overlay. "Biggest night of my life." Slide 3. A table overflowing with gifts. Brand new sneakers. Tablets. Gaming equipment. Stacks of fancy shopping bags. Slide 4. Liam with 6 friends matching hoodies. Arms slung around each other. Caption, "My people." Slide 5. Kendra recording him walking across a stage while parents clapped. "Future MVP," she wrote. Slide 6. A massive balloon arch and a banner. "Thank you to everyone who made this night perfect." Everyone. Except Maya. Her thumb froze on the screen. She whispered, "So I guess I'm not one of them." The words were soft enough to vanish if the room had been any louder, but the room was dead quiet. I reached for her shoulder. She shifted away just an inch, but enough. "Maya." "It's fine," she said. "I get it." She didn't get it. She was trying to survive it. She locked her phone, placed it face down beside her, and stared at the blank TV screen. After a moment, she spoke again, barely audible. "What did I do wrong?" Her voice didn't shake this time. That made it worse. I sat beside her. "Nothing," I said. "You didn't do anything wrong." She gave a tiny, tired shrug. "If you're not invited somewhere, it's because they don't want you there." The sentence was so calm, so grown, so practiced. It took the air right out of my lungs. I wanted to tell her she was wrong. I wanted to tell her families don't erase children. I wanted to tell her invitations don't measure worth. But I couldn't. Not after everything she saw with her own eyes. So I said nothing. And silence, my silence, filled in the truth for her. She stood up. Her blanket slid off her shoulders and crumpled to the floor. "I have a history project due," she said. "I should start it." She walked to her room, closed the door softly. A soft close is worse than a slam. Slams mean you still have the energy to fight. Hours passed before I checked on her. She was asleep on top of the covers, limbs curled toward the edge of the mattress phone still in her hand. The battery had died mid-story. The final slide, Liam smiling beside a balloon arch frozen in the moment it had crushed her. I slipped the phone from her fingers and set it on her nightstand. Her face in sleep looked smaller, younger, as if she had shed the armor she'd built in the past 3 days, and all that was left was a child asking to be chosen. I stayed there for a long time watching her breathe, listening to the quiet house pulse around us. Every memory flashed through my mind like a reel I hadn't asked to watch. Every holiday where Dylan's son got the bigger pile of gifts because he's the youngest. Every birthday where Maya clapped for Liam while he pretended she wasn't in the room. Every family trip where plans changed because Liam wanted something different and everyone adjusted without protest. Every time I swallowed it for the sake of keeping the peace. Peace. What a useless word. Back in the kitchen, the invitation envelope sat under the overhead light, gleaming like a verdict. I picked it up, turned it over. My name embossed in silver. Not hers, not even a space where her name could have been written. I pressed my thumb against the lettering until it hurt, a small, intentional pain to ground myself. I imagined her face that night at the resort, trying to look brave, trying to disappear, trying not to ruin Liam's perfect evening by existing. And then something inside me pulled tight. A string stretched too far, held too long. I felt it go. A small, unmistakable snap deep in my chest. The second one, the clean one, the one that doesn't mend. I didn't cry, didn't rage. I simply understood finally that protecting my daughter would mean letting part of my family die, and I wasn't afraid of funerals anymore. Saturday morning, I woke Maya before the sun was fully up. She blinked at me, sleepy and confused hair sticking up on one side. "Get dressed," I said softly. "We're going out." Her brows pulled together. "Are we going to the party?" "No," I said. "We're going somewhere better." She didn't ask anything else. Some hurts teach you silence. By 8, we were on the highway windows down the cold spring air, whipping her hair into a wild halo. She started guessing where we were going, soft at first, then louder as the city fell away behind us. When we pulled into Seaside Arcade and Amusement Pier, she sat up straight. "Mom," she whispered, "really, really." And for the next 9 hours, she was just a kid again. We raced go-karts. We screamed on roller coasters. We ate nachos that stained our fingers orange. We lost money at claw machines and won a ridiculous blue stuffed seahorse twice her size. She laughed until her voice cracked. A real laugh, not the polite, fragile ones she'd been giving me all week. By the time we left, her shoulders were pink from the sun and her legs wobbled from walking. She fell asleep halfway home, cheek pressed to the window seahorse crushed in her arms. I almost turned the car toward our house, almost skipped the monthly family dinner, almost spared her what was waiting, but not going would start a war of its own. A different kind. The kind where they would claim I was hiding. So I kept driving. Mom's house glowed bright from the bottom of the hill, every porch light on. Cars lined both sides of the street, Paige's silver SUV. Dad's old truck, Dylan's black BMW, parked right in front like a trophy. Maya stirred when I touched her shoulder. "We're here," I whispered. She nodded, rubbing her eyes tired in a way that had nothing to do with the amusement park. The second we stepped inside the room, froze for a heartbeat. Then, "Well, look who made it," Mom called from the stove. Her voice was sticky sweet, dangerous. Every chair at the long dining table was full, Paige with her wine glass already half empty, Dad carving a roast like it deserved an apology. Kendra, in a shimmering dress, too fancy for a family dinner. Liam still wearing his championship medal, the ribbon twisted from being played with all afternoon. Dylan sat in the middle arms, draped across 2 chairs, grinned smug, and practiced. He looked at Maya. Not with regret, not with guilt, just mild surprise that she existed outside his narrative. "Hey, kiddo," he said lightly. "Feeling better." Maya's fingers went ice cold in mine. "Better than what?" "Better than being unwanted." We sat. 2 empty plates waited for us. Mom always set the table like she expected forgiveness to arrive on schedule. Liam immediately launched into a recap of his celebration. The DJ, the photo booth, the balloon drop. It was epic, he said. There were cameras everywhere. Everyone was there, everyone except the girl staring at her mashed potatoes like they might swallow her whole. Paige smirked. "You two missed out. Could have been the perfect family photo, but..." She shrugged, as if the loss were ours. Kendra chimed in with her sugary voice. "It just wasn't the same without the whole family." Dylan laughed softly. "Well, almost the whole family." The table chuckled. Something in Maya's face flickered. Her fork slipped, clattered against the plate. Mom frowned. "You okay, sweetheart?" Maya's eyes filled before she could look away. She pushed back her chair too fast, too loud, and ran. The screen door slammed behind her like the house was spitting her out. Silence fell. Heavy, sharp. Paige broke it first. "Wow. Dramatic much." Dylan shook his head with a long exhale. "She's sensitive. Rachel should have prepared her. Big events aren't for everyone." I stood. No rush, no shaking. Just rising. So Dylan added casually, "Should someone go talk to her?" I looked at him, really looked. This was the boy who once cried when he lost his favorite toy. The boy who used to follow me around the house. The boy who our parents taught the world would always bend for. And now he wanted to watch my daughter break for entertainment. "No." I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. Dylan raised an eyebrow. "What are you doing?" I pressed a single button. Speaker. The phone rang twice. Then a man answered. "Rachel." "Everything okay, Marcus Lee? My partner in the investment firm. The man who trusted my judgment without question." The entire table froze. "Marcus," I said, my voice cold enough to frost glass regarding the 4.5 million allocation for Brightwave Labs. Pull it. Every fork lowered, every breath caught. Marcus hesitated only a second. Reason I kept my eyes on Dylan as I spoke. Because the founder made it clear he doesn't value my daughter. And I don't fund men who think their success justifies cruelty. A long pause. Then Marcus replied crisp and certain. "Understood. I'll terminate the agreement and notify legal. You'll get the copy in your inbox." I ended the call. Silence. Not peaceful. Crushing. Then, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Dylan shot up so fast, his chair toppled backward. "Rachel, that's my company, my future. You can't just..." I said. "And I did." Kendra's voice cracked into a shriek. "Do you know what that does to us? To Liam? That money was everything." Paige slammed her glass down. "You're insane." Mom pressed a shaking hand to her mouth. "Rachel, please, fix this. Call him back." Dad's fist hit the table. "Enough, Rachel, this is family." Family. The word had never sounded emptier. I lifted my phone and tapped once. A soft ding echoed from Dylan's pocket. "Check your email," I said. He dug out his phone with trembling fingers. His face drained of color. You copied him on the termination. Marcus blind copied me," I corrected. "Standard protocol. Rachel, please." His voice broke into something small, something unfamiliar, fear. But he still didn't look toward the porch, still didn't ask about Maya, not once. And that told me everything I needed to know. I stepped back from the table. All eyes followed. "You made my daughter feel unwelcome," I said quietly. "Tonight she learned her place in this family. I let that hang. Then, now you're learning yours." Mom whispered my name. Dad whispered, "Don't do this." But I was already walking away past the spilled wine, the trembling hands, the toppled chair. The house buzzed behind me. Anger, panic, disbelief, none of it mine. When I reached the porch, I found Maya curled on the steps, arms around her knees, breath shaking the way it did when she tried not to sob. I sat beside her, pulled her into my arms. Her tears soaked my shoulder. "Mom," she whispered, voice small and cracked. "Did you really do that?" "Yes," I said, and I would do it again, 1,000 times. Inside chaos erupted voices, rising dishes, clattering, someone shouting my name. Out here it was just us. Cold air, porch light flickering, my daughter in my arms, and nothing left in me to apologize for. The next morning my phone started vibrating before the sun was up. One buzz, then another, then a rapid-fire tremor that rattled against the kitchen counter like a trapped insect. Maya padded into the room in her pajamas, rubbing sleep from her eyes. "Is that them?" she asked. I didn't answer. The screen was already lighting up again. 47 missed calls, 23 voicemails, more messages than I could count. The subject line of the newest email froze me in place. "Termination confirmed. Brightwave Labs Series A." I opened it. "Due to the withdrawal of lead investor capital and concerns regarding founder alignment with ethical values, all participating partners are exiting the deal effective immediately." Below it, a chain of replies. "We're out. Pulling commitment. Regretfully withdrawing. Effective now. A cascade. Dominoes falling in real time." My phone rang again, Kendra's name flashing across the screen. I let it go to voicemail, then Paige, then Mom, then Dylan. 3 seconds later, another buzz. "Paige, you ruined everything." Liam didn't sleep. Dylan hasn't stopped crying. "How could you?" Another, "You destroyed your own brother over your insecurity. Hope you're proud." Another, Liam asked why Aunt Rachel hates him. What am I supposed to tell him? I set the phone face down on the counter and exhaled slowly. Maya watched all of it, quiet, unmoving, her expression unreadable. The phone buzzed again. Mom was calling FaceTime. I ignored it. 10 seconds later, another call, then another. Maya slid onto a stool beside me and reached for the phone. "Can I see?" she asked. I hesitated, but she had already seen enough to know. I turned the screen toward her. She scrolled through the floods of messages, her eyes tracking line after line of blame, panic, manipulation. Her thumb paused on one of Paige's texts. Her face changed. It hardened, not with anger, but with clarity. The kind of clarity children shouldn't have to learn this young. She set the phone down carefully. Then she put her small hand on my arm. "Mom," she said quietly, "you did the right thing." 6 words. Soft, steady, more grown than half the adults screaming into my inbox. My throat closed. I had spent years trying to be the buffer between her and my family's cruelty, trying to absorb their blows so they wouldn't land on her. But now she wasn't asking me to defend myself. She wasn't asking me to fix anything. She was standing with me, a team of 2. I leaned forward and pressed my forehead against hers. She let me hold her. The phone kept buzzing behind us, but she reached back and flipped it over so the screen couldn't light up again. The sudden darkness was a kind of peace. We sat like that for a long time, her perched on the stool, me on the edge of the counter, both of us listening to the quiet between the vibrations. Finally she murmured, "I don't want to go back there. To their house, to their dinners, to pretending like everything's fine." "You don't have to," I said. She nodded once, not tentative, certain. Good. Another buzz came through. Dylan this time, his 10th call in 20 minutes. Maya reached out and pressed decline without hesitation. Then slowly, deliberately, she turned off the ringer. The silence that followed felt like oxygen. Let them scream into the void. We weren't in it anymore. I made us pancakes after that, burning the first batch because my hands were still shaking. Maya didn't mind. She drowned hers in syrup and swung her feet under the stool like she used to when she was little. She laughed once, brief surprised when I dropped a fork. The sound filled the kitchen. Light, normal, something I hadn't heard in too long. After breakfast, we sat outside on the back patio while Maya worked on her school project. She looked up at me every so often, checking if I was still breathing evenly. "Are you okay?" she finally asked. I told her the truth. I am now. I watched her stare at her worksheet, tapping her pencil. She was thinking hard. After a moment, she said, "It's weird. I thought losing people would feel empty. But it doesn't." "Not really. What does it feel like?" I asked. She shrugged. Like, it's quieter, and the quiet is better than the noise. I nodded, because I understood exactly what she meant. The noise had been killing us for years, we'd just never named it. Around noon the messages slowed. Anger burns hot, not long. Eventually the whole house settled into the kind of stillness that doesn't demand anything from you. Maya stretched out on the patio chair with her notebook. I opened my laptop and worked through payroll for one of my portfolio companies. The numbers felt clean, uncomplicated, free from the weight of family expectations. Every so often I caught Maya glancing at me. Not scared, not sad, just making sure I was still there. At one point she reached out and set her hand on my arm again. No words, just connection. A quiet alliance formed in that small gesture. The sun had shifted low when she finally spoke again. Mom, yes, thank you. For what? For choosing me. My breath caught. It shouldn't have. She should never have doubted it yet. The fact that she said it meant she had. I pulled her into my side. She rested her head against my shoulder, and for the first time in weeks, I felt her relax fully. No bracing, no shrinking, just safe. Inside the house, the phone buzzed weakly with one last notification. Maya ignored it. So did I. Instead, I watched her scribble in her notebook, the afternoon sun warming her hair, the air gentle around us. I thought about the night before, chaos behind us, peace ahead. I thought about the door I had closed on my brother, and the one that had opened between me and my daughter. Some choices split your life cleanly in two. This was one of them. Maya flipped a page, stretched her arms, and sighed like someone finally freed from a weight she hadn't realized she'd been carrying. The sky dimmed, the backyard lights clicked on, a breeze moved through the trees. And in that quiet, she said the words that settled everything. I like our life better this way. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to, because she was right. 8 months later, the fallout was complete. Brightwave Labs filed for Chapter 7 on a gray morning in February. The news alert popped up on my phone while I was pouring coffee. A single headline, a photo of Dylan looking hollow-eyed outside a courthouse. They listed loss of investor confidence as the cause. They didn't name me. They didn't have to. The house he once bragged about, the one in the gated community with the manicured lawn and the stone fountain, hit the market 2 weeks later. A rushed listing, below value, gone by the end of the month. He and Kendra moved into a cramped 2-bedroom apartment 20 minutes south of the city, next to a strip mall and a laundromat with flickering lights. Liam transferred from private school to the local middle school. No more trainers. No more summer club teams. No more weekend trips to the lake resort. Their world shrank. Fast. Violently. Mine didn't. The monthly family dinners disappeared first. Mom tried hosting one in April. Paige showed up, stayed 20 minutes left early. In June, only Mom went. She sent a photo of the empty table roast chicken untouched. Dad didn't comment. He never does. Mom still called every couple of weeks, her voice softer now, careful, as if she were tiptoeing through her own house. She'd ask about the weather, work, how Maya was doing in school. She never said Dylan's name, not once. Avoidance can be a kind of apology or a kind of cowardice. Sometimes they look the same. Paige sent one last message on Liam's 12th birthday, blaming me for him not getting the life he deserved. I blocked her. Peace isn't always quiet. Sometimes it's the absence of certain voices. Maya, meanwhile, grew 3 inches over the summer. Her face sharpened. Her confidence did too. She made honor roll, joined the debate team, started volunteering at the animal shelter every Saturday morning. The first time I heard her laugh without restraint, it startled me. I had forgotten that sound. Not the laugh itself, the freedom in it. One evening in October, we ate takeout on the back patio, warm noodles in white cartons, the air cool and clean. Maya was scrolling her phone between bites. Then she stopped, looked up at me. You know, she said, I'm glad we don't have to pretend anymore. I set my fork down. Pretend what? That they cared, she said, not unkindly. It's easier when people show you who they are. You don't waste time hoping they'll change. I stared at her for a long moment, at this girl who had survived something quiet but devastating, and come out steadier than many adults I'd known. "Are you okay with how things turned out?" I asked. She shrugged, the simplest gesture in the world. "I have you. That's enough family for me." Wind moved through the trees behind us. A few leaves skittered across the deck. She went back to eating like she hadn't just redefined my entire life in 10 words. Later that night, I passed her bedroom on my way to the laundry room. Her door was open a few inches. I peeked inside. Maya was pinning a new photo to the corkboard above her desk, careful, precise the way she handles things that matter. It was the picture from the amusement pier, her hair windblown, my cheeks sunburned, both of us laughing with our arms wrapped around each other, the blue stuffed seahorse smushed between us. No one else in the frame, no one missing, no one to crop out. Just us. Just enough. She stepped back and looked at it for a long moment, hands on her hips like she was judging a museum piece. Then she turned off her lamp and climbed into bed. I stood there in the hallway holding a pile of towels, staring at that photo glowing in the last sliver of light. A picture can tell the truth long before the people in it do. As I walked back downstairs, my phone buzzed with a new email. A newsletter from a business magazine. A sidebar headline caught my eye. "Whatever happened to Brightwave Labs? Former founder quietly steps back from tech scene." I didn't click it. I didn't need to know. Some stories don't require follow-up. The house was quiet as I finished folding laundry, the kind of quiet that settles into walls and stays there. Not heavy, not tense, just earned. Later, as I locked the front door, I glanced out toward the street. A man walked his dog under the street lamp. 2 teenagers biked past, laughing. Normal life, ordinary life, a life that didn't tremble under someone else's expectations. Maya called out from upstairs. "Good night, Mom. Good night, sweetheart." Her door clicked shut. A soft click. A safe one. I stood there for a moment, hand on the light switch, breathing in the quiet, thinking of everything we had walked away from, everything we had survived, everything we had built in the empty space left behind. Some people think walking away is weakness. They're wrong. Walking away is knowing exactly what you're worth, and refusing to spend 1 more ounce of your life convincing others to see it. I turned off the lights. The house went dark, and in that final moment before sleep, the truth settled into me, clear, unwavering, permanent. Some doors close so better ones can open. I didn't regret a single one we shut. Not then, not now, not ever.